The idea of Tiny Harris stepping to 50 Cent over the King Harris situation has set the internet on fire. The Harris family and 50 Cent have been locked in one of the most talked about feuds in hip-hop in years, and Tiny's name has been at the center of it from day one. So let us walk through everything that happened between 50 Cent, T.I., King Harris, and Tiny, and how this confrontation unfolded. To understand how Tiny Harris ended up going at 50 Cent, you first have to understand the Versus situation. That is the root of this entire conflict. That is where it all started. And the fact that a battle meant to celebrate two rap legends somehow spiraled into one of the ugliest feuds of 2026 tells you everything you need to know about how things go when 50 Cent is involved. Versus was seemingly invented to settle beefs, not start them. The foundation of today's feud was laid during the COVID-19 pandemic when T.I. first challenged 50 Cent. Back in 2020, when Swizz Beatz and Timbaland created the Versus format to give fans something positive during lockdown, T.I. saw the opportunity. Back in 2020, T.I. put the challenge out via an Instagram video aimed at Fifth on his birthday, basically saying, "Pull up with 20 and let's see what's up." 50 did what 50 does. He didn't accept, he clowned it. That exchange, while brief, planted a seed. T.I. wanted this battle. He kept that energy for years, and 50 Cent kept brushing it off. 50 said he thought Versus was something we did when we was stuck in the house, and that once they could go back outside, he didn't understand why they were still doing it. For 50, the whole concept had a shelf life that expired the moment the world opened back up. For T.I., though, this was unfinished business. Fast forward to early 2026, T.I. was on a press run for what he called his retirement album. Let 'Em Know was one of the early hits of 2026, part of T.I.'s retirement album Kill the King. Tip was feeling himself. He was back in the public eye, and he had momentum. And the Versus topic came right back up. T.I. joined a live episode of Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ochocinco's Nightcap in San Francisco during Super Bowl weekend, where Tip explained he originally wanted to face off with Gucci Mane, but then turned his focus to 50. This was the moment the current version of this beef was born. T.I. said, "I called my man. I said who I wanted. I said I wanted 50. He don't want no smoke though. I called my man out. He don't want no smoke." That was on Nightcap. Then came the $1 million worth of Game podcast appearance, which raised the stakes even further. T.I. revealed on the $1 million worth of Game podcast that he and 50 Cent had been in talks to face each other in a Versus battle. According to T.I., the two were aligned and excited about celebrating their catalogs together. Then, without explanation, 50 Cent backed out. Rather than address it privately, Fifth took to social media to play dumb, acting confused when asked about the planned event, leaving T.I. publicly hanging, and more importantly, publicly embarrassed. Now, whether you believe T.I.'s version of events or 50's is another conversation, but the fact remains, T.I. said publicly that 50 agreed to the Versus and then backed out, and he said he no longer has respect for the man. Clips circulated from $1 million worth of Game, where T.I. claims he and 50 discussed the Versus in private, and 50 acted like he didn't know once Tip went public. The key line, Tip says he has no interest in sharing the stage now, and straight up says he doesn't respect 50. That was all it took. 50 Cent, being who he is, did not let those comments slide, but instead of going to the booth, 50 posted old clips of T.I.'s 2008 legal testimony. He went straight to the social media playbook. He went straight to trolling. He dug up old footage from T.I.'s legal past and posted it online for the world to see, and that was the opening shot. After Tip's comments, 50 posted an unflattering photo of Tiny with a caption basically warning Tip to keep his name out his mouth. This was the pivot where it stopped being rap debate and turned personal. That right there, that was the line. Because once 50 brought Tiny Harris into the conversation, the entire dynamic of this beef changed. It was no longer about catalogs or Versus or who had more hits. It became personal, and that is exactly how the Harris family ended up in a full-scale war with Curtis Jackson. Now, you might be thinking, if the beef was between T.I. and 50, how did King Harris get involved? And how did Tiny end up in the middle of it all? We will get to that. But first, you need to understand the moment 50 Cent crossed the line, because that moment changed everything. 50 Cent is, by most accounts, one of the most calculated trolls in the history of the entertainment industry. Nobody was shocked that 50 Cent was in internet beef again. This is the same man who has so much disdain for Sean Diddy Combs, he produced a docuseries about him. Curtis has taken public shots at Jay-Z, clowned Jim Jones, trolled Clarissa Shields, and is currently sparring with T.I., and that's from a man that aired out his own son online. The man has a long list, and the T.I. situation was not handled differently. In fact, some would argue it was handled worse, because this time, 50 went after a man's wife. 50 Cent posted an unflattering photo of Tamika Tiny Harris on social media during his ongoing feud with her husband T.I. He captioned it with a remark telling T.I. to keep his name out of his mouth, which many people saw as mocking or disrespectful toward Tiny. The post was deliberate. It was not a subtle jab. It was a direct insult aimed at Tiny to provoke T.I., and it worked. King Harris joined the T.I. and 50 Cent feud on Sunday, February 22nd, after the mogul shared a forewarned Instagram post to T.I. with a photo of Tip's wife, Tiny Harris, performing. 50 captioned the post, "I keep saying keep my name out your mouth, okay?" That was the post. That was the one that opened the floodgates. Because when T.I.'s children saw that photo of their mother being used as a punchline in a rap beef, they were not going to stay quiet. T.I. himself responded in the comments. T.I. wrote in the comments, "Fuck me 66A, you can post a fat hoe in a snowstorm on a unicycle juggling dildos. You still a hoe." King said that. T.I. was fired up, but his response was still within the realm of the typical back and forth you see in hip-hop beefs. What happened next was not. King commented under 50's post with Tiny Harris, "Ready for war. Where your mama?" he commented. That comment, short as it was, signaled something. King Harris was not just going to defend his mother with words. He was about to escalate this entire situation beyond what anyone anticipated. Now, here is the thing about the Tiny situation that needs to be addressed. Tiny Harris had not made a public remark regarding either the beef between T.I. and King Harris, or the beef between T.I. and 50 Cent at that time. Tiny, at the point when 50 posted her photo, was staying out of it. She was not in the comments. She was not on podcasts. She was not releasing statements. And yet 50 chose to drag her in. 50's mental warfare and petty social media antics picked up when he posted a not-so-flattering photo of T.I.'s wife, Tiny, and then compared his son, King Harris, to the Papy the Frog meme. He did not stop at Tiny. He went at King, too, mocking his appearance. And that was the moment this stopped being a rapper versus rapper situation. It was now a full-on family situation. Perhaps the most compelling part about the recent friction between 50 Cent and T.I. is that it's now turned into an intergenerational feud. That description is accurate. This was no longer just T.I. versus 50. This was the Harris household versus Curtis Jackson. And the Harris household came with everything. Some commentators weighed in on 50 targeting Tiny. One op-ed from Black America Web took it a step further. In the midst of tongue wrestling with T.I., 50 Cent decided to pivot, not to another bar or meme aimed at T.I. The piece argued this was not about protecting celebrities from jokes, but about a culture that wants to normalize humiliating black women. The argument was simple. If your beef is with T.I., then keep it with T.I. Bringing Tiny into it served no purpose other than to provoke. And provoke it did. The conversation around this moment was not just about hip-hop beef. It was about respect. It was about lines. And it was about what happens when those lines get crossed. Because once 50 posted that picture of Tiny, he did not just start a beef with T.I. He started a war with the entire Harris family. And King Harris was about to let 50 know exactly how far the family was willing to go. When King Harris entered the chat, the entire tone of this beef shifted. T.I. is currently feuding with 50 Cent, and recently, his 21-year-old son King Harris decided to get involved. King was not interested in subtle jabs or witty social media captions. He went straight for the throat. King entered the feud after 50 posted an unflattering photo of Tiny on his Instagram. "Want to say something about my mama? Your mama dead," King said to 50 in one clip. "Go dig her up." Those words changed the entire trajectory of this beef. King went directly at 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson. King went too far and crossed the line when he dissed 50 Cent's deceased mother, Sabrina Jackson, who passed away when 50 Cent was 8 years old. But King did not stop there. He turned his words into music. King took various shots at Fifth in a new song, Made Man. He called out the mogul for dissing his mother, making it clear that he's unwilling to tolerate any disrespect. The track was King's first entry in the diss track war. It would not be his last. Then came the moment that even T.I. said went too far. The trap pioneer admitted that he felt things went too far in his war with 50 Cent. When King Harris posted a photo of himself wearing a Rick Ross-approved t-shirt featuring 50's late mother, King wore a shirt with Sabrina Jackson's image on it while recording a diss track aimed at 50. King Harris, T.I., and Tiny's son responded by wearing a t-shirt bearing the image of 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who passed away in an apartment fire when 50 was just 8 years old. The reactions were immediate. Some people applauded King for defending his mother at all costs. Others said he went too far by disrespecting a deceased woman. Even T.I. had to address it. "I said that's enough when I seen that damn t-shirt. I said, this is enough. I said, chill out, bro. I'm big on treating people the way I want to be treated," Tip explained. Meanwhile, King was just getting started. He dropped his third diss song called Drop Top just hours after 50 released new music. The 21-year-old son of T.I. shared the audio for it on his Instagram. The timing was deliberate. This was a response to 50 Cent's new track, which also dropped that day, No One Told Us What We're Here For, which features Leon Thomas. And King was not alone. His brother Damani Harris also entered the fray. T.I.'s son Damani surprised many with his diss track, Ms. Jackson, which framed his verses as questions directed at 50 Cent's mother. Damani backed up his brother with another 50 Cent diss track titled Pew Why. He referred to 50 as a cornball and an informant. So by this point, you had T.I. dropping diss tracks, King Harris dropping diss tracks, Damani Harris dropping diss tracks. The beef has officially become a family affair, as T.I.'s sons, Damani and King, had a few words for 50 on their own. T.I. himself dropped 4 songs aimed at 50. T.I. has now released 4 diss tracks: War, The Right One, Lessons, and What Bully, and 50 Cent. As far as rapping goes, this has been a totally one-sided feud, as T.I. has been relentless in stacking 50 Cent diss tracks, while 50 has opted for social media fodder and trolling instead of heading to the booth. 50 did not drop a traditional diss track for the majority of this beef. He stuck to memes, he stuck to Instagram posts, he stuck to his brand of social media warfare, that is until he used a television show theme song to respond. 50 got up off the mat and shrewdly responded to T.I. and Tiny, with a couple of bars in his new Power Origins theme song No One Told Us, which features Leon Thomas. In the song, he raps while referencing the sexual assault allegations Tip and Tiny have faced. He embedded his shots at the Harris family inside a TV theme song. That is classic 50 Cent, turning beef into business, turning a personal conflict into a promotional vehicle. Now, here is where the story takes a turn that nobody expected. Just when people thought this beef had reached its ceiling, 50 Cent raised the stakes in a way that threatened to take the entire conflict off the internet and into something much bigger. 50 Cent finally addressed the rumor that he's working on a documentary about T.I. and Tamika Tiny Harris's sexual assault allegations. On Thursday morning, March 5th, the rapper-filmmaker posted a screenshot of an article that claimed he was developing a documentary tentatively titled Surviving T.I. and Tiny. The program would reportedly cover the allegations of rape and sexual misconduct that numerous women have lodged against the couple over the past few years. That title alone sent shockwaves through social media. Although no official announcements have been made, Fifth alluded to the possibility that he already put the plan in motion. "Remember how quiet I got before the Diddy doc," 50 Cent wrote in his caption. "Dame thought I wasn't coming. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're gonna ask about your 20 sexual assault cases. You might want to talk to a crisis PR person. That is a threat that goes beyond rap. That is a threat that touches real-life legal matters." The tentatively named project would resurface old sexual assault allegations from several women against the couple. T.I. and Tiny have remained steadfast, swearing up and down that they have never conducted such behavior. In fact, T.I. explained that him and Tiny do have unique preferences intimacy-wise, but they have always asked for consent. As of yet, no convictions have resulted from these allegations. The documentary threat put Tiny directly in the crosshairs. Up until this point, Tiny had been a bystander in this beef. She was the person 50 used to provoke T.I., but she was not actively engaging. The documentary changed that dynamic. Now, Tiny's name was not just being thrown around in Instagram memes. It was being attached to a potential streaming production that could reach millions of viewers, the same way 50's Diddy documentary did on Netflix. 50 Cent has yet to drop a diss track against his foes, but he has destroyed them on film. He targeted his last enemy, Sean Diddy Combs, in his recent Netflix docuseries The Reckoning. The 4-part series covered Combs' life before and after he was buried under numerous sexual assault lawsuits. The precedent was already set. 50 had done this before. He had taken a personal beef and turned it into a documentary, and the Diddy documentary was a success. So the threat of a T.I. and Tiny documentary was not an empty one. T.I. responded to the documentary threat as well. He made it clear that he was not intimidated. T.I. said, "I'm real big on treating other people the way I want to be treated. And I'm also real big on treating motherfuckers the fucking way they decided they gonna treat me." That response, delivered on the Ebro Laura Rosenberg show, was T.I. making it clear that he was ready for whatever 50 brought. But it is Tiny's position in all of this that matters most to our story. Tiny, who had her photo posted by 50 without her involvement in the beef. Tiny, whose sons went to war for her. Tiny, whose name was now attached to a potential documentary. The question on everyone's mind was, when would Tiny herself say something? When would she step up? When would she address 50 Cent directly? And that is where this confrontation enters the picture. The tensions between the Harris family and 50 Cent have been building for weeks. The social media posts, the diss tracks, the documentary threats, all of it created a pressure cooker of emotions. And with Tiny's name repeatedly being put in the spotlight without her consent or involvement, the situation was bound to come to a head. The fact is, Tiny's response to this situation has been one of the most watched aspects of this entire beef. People wanted to know what she thought. People wanted to know if she would address 50 directly. And with both parties running in the same entertainment circles, with events happening across the industry constantly, the possibility of Tiny and 50 crossing paths was always on the table. So here's where we arrive at the core of our title. Did Tiny Harris confront 50 Cent at an event over the King Harris diss? Let us lay out what we know. What we know for certain is this: Tiny Harris has not made a public remark regarding either the beef between T.I. and King Harris, or the beef between T.I. and 50 Cent. That was the last confirmed reporting on Tiny's public stance in this feud, as noted by Hot 97. Tiny, throughout this entire beef, maintained a position that stood in contrast to everyone else in her family. While T.I. dropped 4 diss tracks, while King released 3 songs, while Damani released his own music aimed at 50, Tiny stayed silent, at least publicly. Now, the idea of Tiny confronting 50 at an event has been circulating online, but based on everything we have been able to verify, the confrontation between the Harris family and 50 Cent has happened through music and social media, not face-to-face at a physical event. The event in question appears to reference the overall public spectacle of the beef itself, which has played out across Instagram, podcasts, music platforms, and entertainment news coverage over the course of several weeks. What is undeniable is that Tiny's presence looms over this entire conflict. She is the reason King Harris entered the beef. She is the reason Damani dropped his diss track. She is the reason T.I. escalated from social media comments to full-length songs. Every single major escalation in this beef traces back to 50 Cent's decision to post that photo of Tiny. And the Harris family has made it clear that targeting Tiny was a mistake. T.I. expressed how proud he is of how King and Damani have protected their mother. "I'm a logical, reasonable man of respect," said T.I. "I raise my children to be men of respect, logical, reasonable, and not to be emotional. The one thing that I am proud of this is that the women and children in our families see that it's a line of men that's here against who the fuck ever." That statement from T.I. is significant. He framed the entire response to 50 Cent as a family matter. He framed it as his sons doing what men are supposed to do, defend their mother. And while T.I. admitted that King went too far with the t-shirt and the comments about 50's late mother, he was still proud of the intent behind it. As for 50 Cent, 50 waved a metaphorical white flag when removing all posts on his social media pages tied to T.I. and the Harris family. He deleted the posts, the unflattering photos of Tiny, the memes about King, all of it, gone. While 50 had initially taken more digs at Tiny and responded to King on his socials, the posts have since been deleted from his Instagram. Some people interpreted the deletion of those posts as 50 backing down. Others said it was just 50 being 50, creating chaos, sitting back, and then cleaning up his timeline like nothing happened. Either way, the damage was done. The diss tracks exist, the screenshots exist, the documentary rumors exist, and Tiny's name had been dragged through a public beef that she never asked to be part of. The reality is this: Tiny Harris did not need to confront 50 Cent at an event, because her entire family confronted him for her. Her sons went to war, her husband dropped bars, the Harris household moved as one unit, and while the nature of any direct, in-person confrontation between Tiny and 50 remains unconfirmed by any verified reporting, the confrontation itself has been taking place in the public arena for weeks. The public feud between T.I. and 50 Cent has escalated with the involvement of their families, highlighting the personal nature of the conflict and the willingness of both sides to defend their loved ones, even if it means crossing certain lines. And this beef is not over. The 50 Cent and T.I. battle added a few more chapters and doesn't appear to be coming to a close very soon. The documentary rumors are still floating. King Harris is still dropping music. T.I. is still on his press run, and 50 Cent is still doing what he does, promoting his television empire while letting the internet do the fighting for him. What this situation has revealed is something that goes beyond hip-hop. It is about family. It is about what happens when you target someone's wife and mother. It is about the line between entertainment and disrespect. And it is about the fact that in 2026, a beef that started over a versus battle can spiral into documentary threats, family warfare, and one of the most talked about feuds in recent memory. T.I. admitted he was proud of how both his sons defended their mother, Tamika, Tiny Harris, who became the butt of several since-deleted memes posted by 50. Those memes may be deleted, but the record of what happened is not. And that, in the end, is what this entire story has been about. 50 brought Tiny into a beef she was not part of. Her family responded, and now, the entire hip-hop world is watching to see what happens next. The question is not whether Tiny confronted 50 Cent. The question is whether 50 Cent is ready for everything the Harris family has in store, because from what we have seen so far, they are not done. Not by a long shot. And with T.I.'s album still climbing the charts, Let 'Em Know is one of the early hits of 2026, part of T.I.'s retirement album Kill the King, currently #1 at Urban Radio and on several charts. The momentum is on the Harris side. Whether that translates into more music, more confrontations, or even a legal battle over the documentary remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, 50 Cent picked a fight with the wrong family. And Tiny, whether she speaks publicly or not, is the reason this entire war exists. Every diss track, every meme, every social media post, and every documentary threat circles back to the moment 50 decided to post that photo. And the Harris family made sure the world knew that was a mistake. So when people ask, did Tiny confront 50 Cent? The answer is this. The entire Harris family confronted 50 Cent, and they did it in a way that has dominated the conversation for weeks. This story is not over, and based on everything we are seeing, it is only getting started.